I'm Jasenia. This is an informational booking how-to. I have a unique process, and because of that, it can be a little bit confusing for people who are trying to book for the first time. So here I'll explain what I do, my process, and what I recommend for most people. My speciality is that I am an Akashic Records reader. I can go into somebody's Akashic Records and pull up all of their lives, their past lives, their gifts, and I see all versions of soul, and I gift train. So I've created this Akashic Records healing process because that's a lot of information. It can be very overwhelming. In order to activate and open gifts, we must first heal. Most of us on earth have had about 400 to 700 lives. That's a lot of lives. So we have to find a way to systematically go through that process so that we can heal all those wounds, scars, and traumas, and then really uncover our gifts. I do have people that try to jump to report 3 and go straight into gifts. And the issue with that, but to each their own, right? But the issue with that is if you have 400 lives, which is usually an average here on earth, you have 400 opportunities to face some kind of overwhelming trauma in those lives. And that means that your gifts will not be available to you. Your spirit and your higher self's goal is always to heal, always. That is why so many people don't have access to their gift structure. That is why gifts seem like an anomaly here on earth. The truth is everybody has gifts. Everybody has access to their intuition. Everybody has gifts. And that's why gifts is kind of a funny term, because gifts in itself makes it sound like an anomaly. But we cannot access our gifts unless we are healed enough to amplify them in a way that helps us. If we think about what makes gifts function, what makes gifts strong, it is practice, it is healing, it is functioning in self-love, understanding your boundaries, what's causing pain and suffering in your life, letting that go, healing. And if we don't remove that first and we just want to open our gifts, then essentially we are pulling in those traumas, we are reflecting those traumas in our environment, we pull in what we are. So if we have all these wounds, these scars, these negative self-beliefs, these limiting belief systems and structures, these abuse patterns, we're going to pull that in through our gift structure, meaning that we're going to actually toxify our energy and we could put ourselves in tremendous danger. We could pull in negative entities, demonic possessions, and all of that because it simply resonates with us. It's a part of who we are. So we heal those and then use our energy so we can be in the highest, most vibration possible. And in that way, our gifts continue to evolve. So the way we do this, the way I recommend doing this is through the Akashic Report system. Akashic Report 1 goes into soul's origins and structure. This is essentially where you were born, your soul group, soul damage, any interesting aspects like the number of guides or your connection to your home or, any negative unjustified karma you may be carrying around. It goes into your specific soul structure. It's like the basis for all reports. And the reason why this one is important, even if you don't really care about where your soul is from, is because it goes over some of the most traumatic past lives that have caused energetic traumas and wounds to your soul structure. And we clear the soul of any negative entities or energies too. So that's important because they don't influence the next reports. Akashic Report 2 is about this physical life and any past lives that have created behavioral patterns and repetitions in this life that are blocking our growth, blocking our chakras, blocking our evolution. I have a lot of people that come to me and say, well, I've used my gifts for 60 years. I might not have any traumas. I'm pretty sure I'm all set. Most of us have about 400 lives. So if we think about it, we all have trauma. We all have something to work through. I still work through my own past lives whenever they come up for healing. And so if we think about it that way, everybody has something there. And if you only need one session, great, you only need one session. But sometimes Spirit will recommend somebody do Akashic Report 2 once or twice to get rid of more lives. Now, the interesting thing is the more evolved your soul is, the more powerful your gifts are. But usually that also means you have more trauma. Because if you're evolved, you've had more lives. You might have 700 lives. So we might have more opportunities for trauma. In a case like that, we might have to go through and do another clearing. Past life journeying is similar to Akashic Report 2. It's just a longer session. So if you're somebody who has a lot of anxiety, a lot of negativity, a lot of self-limiting beliefs, a lot of self-destructive behaviors, you might just jump into past life journeying and say, hey, I know I need the extra boost. I want to work on my gifts. I want my gifts to be as amplified as possible. I'm just going to jump into the full 2-hour session. So that's really the purpose of past life journeying. Now, for people who have specific relationship issues, I recommend Akashic Report 2A. It's not necessary. Again, it's for people who feel like I have a lot of trauma with relationships, I have a lot of issues come up with relationship structures, and I want to know more about what's going on here. In that report, we can go over, your twin flame or your partner, or your soulmate. We can go over marriage. We can go over you and one other specific person. So it could be a relationship, like a personal partnership, or it could be a friend or sister or mother or brother that you're having a hard time finding the means of connection or healing from that particular relationship. Sometimes it's our child. Sometimes it's our ex. Sometimes it's our parents. So it would be you and one particular person for each Akashic Report 2A. It's a 30-minute session, so it's not a lot for like 10 people. Now, Akashic Report 3 is our gifts. This is where our gifts come through, and we have very specific directions for those gifts. This is not, like most people, it's not just like you have telepathy and that's it. It's not like, oh, you have psychic vision. It's what psychic vision you have and how you would particularly use it. It's what exists in every single one of your chakras. Most people have more than one gift structure. Most people have a fragment of that gift structure within each chakra. Even in empath, there are 10 different levels of empaths. And there are very specific gift structures that each level has to protect themselves against entities or negativity, or how to heal or how to clear. And that all comes up in the gift report in very specific directions with 2 videos that helps you work through your gifts and helps you kind of learn how to continue evolving your gifts. Your gifts are supposed to evolve. If you get to the place where you've had Akashic Report 3 and you feel like, well, I don't feel like I'm evolving, I feel like I might be stuck, you might have more traumas you have to remove, and then your gifts can continue amplifying. And if not, if you feel like you just need practice, if you need help guiding that energy and working with people, you can do Akashic Report 5, which is gift training. In that case, we do an online gift training, and you work with people one-on-one, and you use your gift structure guided by me. And it's a very powerful way to see how it works, feel how it works, and get the evidence, because you have real practice clients that are pulled off of the main page. So there are people I've really never worked with and people you've never worked with. These gifts, these reports are all booked online on a self-booking website. They're right on the Book Now button at the top of the page, at the top of my page, website, and everywhere, essentially. There's always the website has Book Now options as self-booking. You go on, you pick your date, and then you book the session. The amazing thing is that you don't have to be present for any of these reports. I will email you the Sunday before the session with a questionnaire. In the questionnaire, you would put your personal information, any concerns or focuses you have for that session, and I simply chart the session. I go through your past lives, I pull it up, I go through your energy, I scan everything, and I give you a huge document. It's long, it's super detailed. The reason I like it in a written report is because there's so much information, people just cannot remember it. It's scientifically proven that we only remember, 3 things or 5 things from our memory bank. It would be a waste of a full hour session to not have it written out, to not have some kind of physical documentation. One report, I've known people who are still reviewing that report 6-8 months later and still going back and finding things like, oh, I could work on this now, I'm gonna work on this now this makes sense to me, I'm gonna start focusing on this aspect. So in a way, it's gonna be a very valuable document for you. And that's why it's written. You then have 24 hours to ask any questions on the information there. This is really great because I have clients all over the world. So sometimes our time frames don't work out, or if they're sleeping, I'm awake. sometimes it can be very difficult. So you read it on your own time, and you take your time, you make notes, take questions, take notes, get questions, and you could email them over whenever you're ready. I try to send the emails back during business hours as soon as I can, and the questions are answered. Now, some people come to me for more average sessions or basic sessions. That's what I would recommend the psychic session for. If you just want to if you have some questions based on your business or the future, or your general questions like, should I move to this place? What's going on here? Is this an entity or not? Is this house for us? Those are basic psychic sessions. You can book those also on the website. There's many different options: full hour psychic session, 30-minute psychic session, or a questionnaire, which is 5 to 10 questions. So those are always an option too. For mediumship sessions, those are connections to deceased loved ones. They're right on the page too. I do the same thing. I send out a questionnaire. We think about a time we could text and chat. The reason why I like text, this is important too, is because you have a physical document of some of these beautiful messages that come through. I've had people screenshot or print or save and put these beautiful quotes and messages up for their loved ones. I think that there's no greater gift. I think that's probably one of the most beautiful things you can give somebody who's lost somebody they truly love and care about, a direct quote from their loved one. So it helps me too, because those are some of the most emotionally charged sessions. Obviously, when we talk about deceased loved ones, there's a lot of emotion that comes through. I am a healer, and I'm a deep healer. And sometimes that deep healing has some darkness to it. Sometimes we have to talk about the things that we're upset with, and this is true for mediumship sessions. Sometimes these souls come through and have some dark things they want to release. I'm sorry I put you through this. I'm sorry I made those decisions. I'm sorry I did that. And those can be a little overwhelming. And I've had people who've seen tons of mediums and they've never had anything like that come up. And then they were like, but it's absolutely true. And I'm glad that somebody, had the ability and courage to bring that forward, because I needed healing from that too. So the thing is that, that's easier to do over messenger, because I'm emotional. I'm feeling spirit's emotion. I'm emotional. I'm feeling my client's emotion. I am literally like a vessel of emotion. A lot of times I'm just sitting here crying during mediumship sessions, also why I don't do them live. So written works a lot better for everybody involved. It gives me time to channel. It gives me time to sit still and listen and kind of work through their emotional baggage, while also helping my client work through their emotional baggage and be a conductor of both energies in a protected way that serves me best. But I do online, and I do over the phone. If that's the case and somebody needs something like that, you can always give me an email, JeseniaNazzolillo@gmail.com, and ask for some kind of, accommodation for any specific situation. I also have in-person sessions occasionally in Sudbury, Massachusetts at Healing Point Therapeutic. It's not common, and I do list them on the page when they're available. So if you just keep looking on my social media connections, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter, although I don't really know how to use it. If you keep up with those social media pages or my email list, then you will get updates when I have in-person sessions available. And besides that, if you have any questions, please just let me know. I'm available most of the time. I directly answer all inquiries on my pages and on my email, and I'm always here to answer questions. I hope this video helps you book your own personal sessions, and I look forward to working with you.